Hi guys, it's been a long time since I've posted a video here. Last one was in the summer of 2021. It's now the end of March of 2023. And a lot of reasons, a lot of things have happened in our family that took a lot of precedence over recording videos. However, I have been taking pictures and I'm hoping to put together some videos soon talking about some of those things that I've been doing. But for now, I thought I would put together this short video. Basically, I wanted to discuss recording audio outside for your YouTube videos. I follow a number of YouTube channels, and quite a few of them are people doing things outdoors, boating, sailing channels, as well as YouTube photography channels and things like that. And some of them have really good audio and some of them not so much. One of the things that I've heard people say is that 80% of good video is good audio. And well, whether that 80% is the exact number or not, the idea is there, and that in your videos, doesn't matter how good the video is, if the audio is terrible and you're trying to convey a message, most people will not watch for long if the audio is terrible, or they're going to be less likely to continue watching if the audio is terrible. If, on the other hand, your image quality is not perfect, if the lighting isn't perfect, or things are off just a little bit, people are more likely to continue to watch if the audio is nice and clear and they can hear what you're trying to say. If they're competing with wind noise or background noises or poor quality audio, it's going to be a lot more difficult to watch for any length of time. There are many videos on YouTube about how to record audio in this type of a setting where you're indoors in a controlled setting, quiet room, controlled environment. So I don't want to get into that. I have a condenser mic on a stand up here. It's not far from me. It's picking up the audio. My camera is also picking up the audio and the built-in microphone. The built-in microphone is going to be totally intelligible in here, will not sound as good as the microphone that's closer to me. I will just take this audio, record it onto a Zoom recorder, sync it with that. There's a lot of ways of doing it. I could take this audio directly into the camera. I didn't bother to do that. This works for me, and then I have two audio sources to pick from. When you're outside, you are dealing with an uncontrolled environment. You are dealing with wind noise, you're dealing with background noises, you're dealing with traffic. Without getting into a lot of detail, essentially a microphone, such as the shotgun mic with the furry thing on it, all microphones contain what's called a capsule inside. The capsule is what takes the sound waves that hit the capsule, the diaphragm in the capsule. They take those sound waves which vibrate the diaphragm and turn them into electrical signals, which then travel along the wire to your audio recording device and are recorded electronically. The problem is that that capsule can't differentiate between a voice or a sound vibrating that diaphragm, or somebody tapping the microphone vibrating the diaphragm, or wind hitting the diaphragm vibrating it, which then comes through as a loud rumble. Or in the old days of video, before digital recorders, when we had tape recording in a video camera, sometimes the built-in microphones on those cameras would actually pick up the hum and the vibration of the motor that drives the tape inside. Fortunately, we're no longer having to use those anymore. However, wind noise is one of the biggest problems that people have outside, and then background noise, I think, would be the second problem. So, first of all, what happens with most microphones? If you just take this shotgun microphone and I put it on a stand here and record my voice with it, it's going to do a pretty good job because there's no wind in this room. There's not a lot of background noise. It's going to pick me up okay. What will happen, though, is if I try to use this mic just like this outside, is the wind is going to go through, it's going to go right through this wire mesh around the capsule, and it's going to make the end of the diaphragm in the capsule vibrate, and it's just like somebody blowing in your ear. It's loud, it sounds terrible, you can't get rid of it in editing because it's overlaying your spoken audio and sometimes makes it unintelligible. Certainly makes it annoying to listen to. Many shotgun mics and other microphones will come with a foam cover like this. Now, this foam cover will help with wind a little bit, but not a lot. What it will help with is if you're like this and you're talking into it, it keeps the puffs of air, the plosives, from going and hitting the capsule. Without it, if it's too close to my mouth, it will make a loud pop every time a puff of air comes out of my mouth. Like if you hold your hand in front of your mouth when you speak, you can feel those puffs of air coming out. If those puffs of air hit the capsule directly, it will make loud booming noises, for lack of a better explanation. These help with that. They will help a little bit with air movement, but not a whole lot. The problem is the wind going across, even though we can't hear it, is making some noise as it brushes over the foam. The capsule picks that up, and then it ends up on our recording. That's why in most outdoor video productions, you'll see one of these. They call it a dead cat. There's a lot of different names for these, but basically the idea is to put a cover over the top that stops the air from hitting the capsule, but also because it's a soft fur, the wind going over it doesn't make any noise that the microphone can pick up. The reality is that most people, or many people recording video for YouTube, don't want to be setting up a large shotgun microphone on a stand like that. They don't have somebody with a boom pole to hold it over top of them. And so they're looking for an option that's easy for them to manage single-handed. Using the microphone that's built in your camera has a couple of problems. First of all, it's too far away from you in this kind of a situation. If you set the camera up on a tripod, it can be too far away from you, and as you move around, it doesn't always pick you up as loudly as you want, and it may pick up a lot of the ambient noises around. Secondly, most cameras, if you look at where the built-in microphone is, for example, this is my Pentax K50. I don't use it a lot for video, but it will shoot video. It has built-in microphone right there. The problem is there's no wind protection there. If the wind hits it, it's picking up all the wind noise. Secondly, this camera doesn't have a microphone input for using an external microphone. One of the reasons I don't use it for video. Secondly, Pentax cameras are great for photography, but not phenomenal for video. So I don't use it for that a lot. It will work for it, but I don't use it a lot. Currently, I'm recording on my Sony A7, which is a far better video camera than that Pentax K50. And it also has an external mic input, which I'm not using now, but it has one. That's where a microphone like this comes in. It has a mount where you can mount into the shoe on top of your camera. It has a cable that you can plug into the audio input on your camera. It has a nice fur-covered foam ball that protects the microphone. And these microphones, this is a little Boya BYMM1. You can buy them very inexpensively on Amazon, and they do work quite well. They're easy to use. You just put it on, no batteries needed. Just put it on, plug it into your camera. I would adjust your audio manually so that it's not bumping up the gain every time you stop talking to add the hiss in between. So turn off the auto gain control if you have that. Go to manual control if you can. And this will help your audio a lot. The one downside with this kind of a microphone is, although it will work well at close range, it will work well if you're carrying the camera and vlogging. Oh, and by the way, these microphones can also work on your smartphone. It comes with two different cables. This is the one for using with the camera. There's a different cable. This just unplugs out of the back. You can plug a different cable in, and it will plug into your smartphone. On an iPhone, you'll need the little lightning to small adapter. And you can also use these on a smartphone, and I've done that. And they do work fairly well. Again, great for vlogging. It gives you a better sound, better wind protection than the built-in microphones in both, whether you're using a phone or a camera. The downside with this, of course, is if you set your camera on a tripod and you walk farther away, the farther you go, the less it picks you up, the more it's likely to pick up the ambient sounds. This is where most people start moving to using something like a lapel mic. And again, this is a small lapel mic. Again, inexpensive Boya. I can't remember what the model number is, but again, bought it on Amazon. It's like 20 bucks Canadian or something like that. And then I bought these extra fur little covers for it. I found those on, I think, on AliExpress. I don't know, $4 for a set of 4 or something like that. So not horribly expensive. But again, just take it, clip it on here, you're ready to go. It has a long wire, so if you want to keep it really simple, you can just take this wire, plug it into the audio input on your camera, hit record. Again, check your audio levels, and you can move around within however far this cable will let you go. Now, if you look at this cable, it has this little fat little part on the mic cable. What that does, it contains a battery, and it has a little switch on it. And the switch has two positions, off/smartphone, and then the other position is camera. So if you're using it with a regular camera, you have to make sure you have a good battery in there. Turn it to camera, because this is a condenser mic that requires power for the microphone capsule to work. And in the case of most cameras, they will not supply the power for this capsule to work. If you are using it with a smartphone, this connector, you use it on both a smartphone and your camera. If on a smartphone, it will provide power for this capsule. So in that case, you can turn this off. You don't need to drain the battery, or you can even run it without a battery in it and it will still work. You just put it on the off/smartphone setting. These mics are great because now you have the microphone close to the source, and your voice will be louder at the mic than pretty much anything that happens around you. So if you're standing beside a river with the noise of the water running by, or if there's a roadway nearby, you might hear some of that sound, but it's not going to overpower your voice. If you have a fur cover on it, that will do a very good job of stopping the wind noise. And again, it'll give you usable audio that sounds nice and clear. Okay, what if you want to be able to freely move around and not have to be tied to your camera? Personally, I would still use a lapel mic like this, but instead of plugging into my camera, I will plug it into a digital recorder. In the past, I have used my ZOOM H4n, which is actually recording the audio right now from this microphone. I've plugged a microphone like this into the H4n and stick it into a large pocket or a bag, turn it on to record, hit record on my camera. I can have another microphone on my camera as a backup. Then I sync the audio on my computer, and I get good quality audio directly from this, and I'm not tethered to my camera. I can walk as far away from the camera as I want, and I still get clear audio. The other thing you can do is get a small little Zoom recorder like this. This is the ZOOM F2 field recorder. Great little recorder. Comes with the lapel mic itself. You put a fur little thing on the lapel mic. Same deal. Hit record on this. Drop it in a pocket, and you have nice clear audio. You're free to roam anywhere you want. I guess the final option that some people use that I don't is to use a wireless setup where they have a small wireless lapel mic transmitter on them and a receiver on the camera. So then when they walk around, they have a wireless connection. It's recording the audio directly to the camera. To me, the only advantage of that is that you don't need to sync the audio later on your computer. You have it directly on your camera to begin with. The downside for me is I am now relying on a wireless connection, which, yes, they do work pretty well most of the time as long as you get a reputable manufacturer. But I don't have a backup, and I don't know if it worked. Whereas a digital recorder in your pocket, yes, they can fail, but you can generally take a look at it and go, hey, is it recording? Secondly, if you have a microphone in your camera, you now have a backup audio recording. With a wireless connection, you really don't know for sure. And for me, because I don't mind syncing the audio later in the editor, it really doesn't give me an advantage over something like the small Zoom recorder. And there's one more thing that you could do too. If you don't want to spend the money on a little digital recorder like that, and you do have one of these microphones, one of the things you can do is, if you have a smartphone, and most of us do, you can plug this into your smartphone, pull up an audio recording app, like a voice recorder app, hit record on that, drop the phone in your pocket. This is now recording the audio directly to your phone. Your camera is recording the video and the audio with the built-in microphone. And you now have a nice, separately recorded digital audio right from your lapel mic onto your phone. Later, pull that audio off your phone, combine it with the video from your camera, and all it's going to cost you is this $20 mic and a $4 filter. And You know, it's an inexpensive way to improve your audio without having to buy a lot of extra gear and not having to rely on the in-camera audio. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful for somebody. I will try to post some photos in the next few weeks of some of the places I've been in the last couple of years, and hopefully I'll get some more videos together about some other things that I have in mind. I'll see you next time.